Hope you're doing well. Couple of knives. Made a new vacuum chamber today to replace my old one. Old one had a couple shortcomings I didn't like, so I built a new one. I didn't use any plans or any parts list. I knew basically what I wanted. I wanted a heavy-duty, large vacuum chamber. I looked at some pictures on the internet of different vacuum chambers. Honestly couldn't find anybody's how-to on how they built those chambers, but I knew what their materials basically were. I sourced the materials or the materials that I wanted. Finally got everything in today, and I built the chamber. And hopefully this will help somebody if they want to build a chamber. Now everything I sourced, including a cake cooling rack I got today, and I'll talk about that. I've got maybe $45 in this vacuum chamber, not counting the pump. This pump is my old pump from my other vacuum chamber, and that was I think it pulls 3 cubic feet, and I got that at Harbor Freight again probably 3 years ago or so. But the chamber itself, I'll go over all the parts. It is a 12 quart 3 gallon, not quite 11 inch tall, stainless steel pot, which is actually a Bain Marie. I've got the lid, I've got a reversible seal, and this is a self-sealing chamber. I've got the only plumbing that you could say I've done to it is on the lid itself, and I'll go over that. And I've got the liquid-filled, oil-filled vacuum gauge. Now I run everything as far as pulling vacuum and releasing pressure at the pump side. I don't have a trap. I've used a trap before, and I got on my old chamber I won't use a trap. I was just starting vacuum very slow until I was sure I didn't have any foam or liquid being pulled. And once I was confident in that, pulling slow, then I'd go ahead and go to full vacuum. Now I'm right at sea level here, and you can see I'm full vacuum, 29, whatever it is. I'm not sure what full vacuum is. You know, it's 29 something at basically at sea level, and I'm a few feet over sea level, not much. So just kind of show you. Now on the pump side, it just made it easy for me. I've actually got a pressure valve for a air compressor, but it works great for what I want it to do. Try to get out of the way of the camera. Alright, and so now, what I've got, this is a 3/4 inch piece of acrylic, and this was square. It was 12 inch square, and all I did was I bandsawed it just to make it a little neater. And with the piece of acrylic, I drilled and tapped it. I'm using 1/4 inch fittings. They're MPT fittings, kind of like this here. And that's a 3/16 barb, which is actually what I'm using, but I can change the barbs out to fit the size tubing that I need to use. So drill and taps coming up to a T. This goes to my pump. This goes to my gauge, and that's all that I have on the chamber itself. So there we go. And then for my seal, this is 1/4 inch food grade FDA approved heavy duty silicone, high heat silicone. And since I've made it like this, it's reversible. So all I did is I gave myself a little bit of overhang, and I cut a 7-inch hole in the center, right at 7 inches, just enough that I can look down into the chamber and see what's going on, watching for air bubbles. Inside the chamber, This is the cooling rack I was talking about because it was simple. So you need to keep your wood off the bottom of the chamber. So cooling rack with little legs on it, this in the bottom enough to keep the wood off the bottom of the chamber. And this is just a weighted top to keep the wood submerged. And I use cactus juice resin. And then it's simple, goes on, top goes on. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now when I start pulling vacuum, sometimes you have to take your hands and apply a little bit of pressure to help the suction catch everything. But once it catches, you're good. The pot, like I said, it's a Bain Marie. One of the things that I wanted was it to have a lip. So you can see this has got a little bit of lip for everything to sit on. Got a nice height to it. It's not quite 10 inches, or is it 9 something inches wide diameter. So basically I can set a nice chunk of wood horizontal in here when I get ready to stabilize it. So you just set everything in. Make sure you can see that. What I may have to do is let the suction start. Once the suction starts, now I don't have any liquid in here right now, so I don't have to worry about any overflow. But it's sealed. It's pulling vacuum. And I know the camera don't see it, but you can actually see the pressure against the lip of the Bain Marie against the silicone where it's drawing its vacuum. And that's fixing to max out. And now it would just be watching your wood until your bubbles stop. Once your bubble stops, you cut your vacuum off. Then you can let air back in, soak the wood. I actually have a pressurized paint pot coming for this system so that I can actually pressurize the wood while it's soaking. But there you go, a simple vacuum chamber. I sourced everything other than the fittings and the cake rack off Amazon. I got the fittings, local farm supply, and I got the cake rack from Walmart a while ago. And the whole thing, again, maybe $45 now, based off easily spending a couple $100 on one that you buy, if you buy one on the internet, not counting shipping and what. So it's not hard to do. You just have to kind of think about what you need to do. You got to source the parts, the silicone, different thicknesses. I think the 1/4 inch would be good because it's not going to wear out. And you can see that not a problem as far as pulling vacuum, holding vacuum. So I hope that helps somebody out because I couldn't find any information as far as how other people really built their chambers. And the other chamber I've got, it's outside. It's actually made out of 4-inch steel pipe or steel tube. That's probably 3 foot tall. But the bad thing about it is I couldn't actually see the bubbles, so I'd have to pull vacuum for 2 or 3 days on a piece of wood just to ensure that everything that it was completely all the air was pulled out. And I didn't like that. And you're killing your pumps. Pumps get hot, and this way, as soon as the bubbles have stopped, I can see it and I can cut the vacuum off, and I know that I am where I need to be. So Cullen Ives here. Hope you're all doing well. Take care.